guys, what is really going on? Okay, Saturn is structure. Okay, the planet Saturn. So like, go look that up. Go learn about how it's structured. All right. So I don't know if you get this or not, but Saturn, Satan, you know, how many of you are institutionalized? Not meaning prison, but the prison planet. This planet, which is Earth, where we have free will, it's Satan's trying to turn this planet into Saturn, into, full-on structure. I mean, you read your Constitution, but the government isn't following it. They don't give a shit about anyone's rights, because if they did, I mean, why are women and children so oppressed? We're dealing with, cavemen and cave women as well, which also means that they're cave children, okay? Meaning they can't think outside of a box. They just, everything's structure, structure, structure. School being structure. If you can't homeschool, if you're not allowed to homeschool, or if you do, they've got to have it all structured. You've got to have license for this, because they need money, because they can't manifest their own. How come all this white-collar crime goes on and no one does anything about it? Because they're not doing the right thing. And look, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So if you're doing wicked or evil, you're going to pay for it. But these people have figured out a way to give their karma to others. That's why there's oppression and not freedom. You have to stand against oppression. For men and women to allow evil to go on and not stand up against it and do anything about it, well, you're just as evil as the ones that are doing it. That includes anyone with any title in the government. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're doing evil or allowing others to do evil, then so are you. They say birds of a feather flock together. Well, this is why you get by yourself, what is called hermit mode, okay? Or the wilderness, or dark night of the soul, or whatever you want to, label it. The point is you get off by yourself so that you can meditate, work through all these things so that you can get balanced. And that means balance of your chakras. Have you ever watched, I don't know what it's called, the movies with Thor in it, okay? And the Rainbow Bridge. Do you understand what the Rainbow Bridge is? Okay, what are the chakras? Rainbow, okay? What is eat the colors of the rainbow? That's eating the colors of the chakras, which, that's not meat, okay? Eating flesh of any kind is cannibalism. So you can be literally eating it, such as meat, or metaphorically eating it, such as, taking what belongs to someone else. That is what is called when someone's, say, eating their children, but not physically, but they're doing it metaphorically, as in, well, this belongs to my children, but I'm going to take this, I don't have anything. Like my mother, my biological mother. The women in this part of the family have been horrifically attacked. They have, but that's, you have to stand up against it. You have to stand up against it. You don't steal from another. You ever read the 10 Commandments? Well, the 10 Commandments literally come from the 42 laws of Ma'at. Okay, look that up. How do you read? Okay, look, books are for reference and the heart is for truth, because that's where, the Holy Spirit, where God resides, all right? Okay, Jesus, Mary, Christ, okay? That's referring to masculine and feminine energies, and Christ being the Holy Ghost. Like, how do you read the Bible but not the Nag Hammadi Gnostic scriptures? How do you not do that? Not look into it, learn about it? How do you not read like Enoch? It's like, well, we have one little piece of it, but we've been programmed by Satan / Saturn to, live with this structure. I mean, I've heard people say that, oh, well, when you're born, you're a sinner. How the fuck is that? You know, are not babies and children innocent unless they come from a bad seed, right? Which makes it harder for them. Bad seed meaning that there's curses, generational curses, hexes. If you steal from someone else, well, then you've just hexed and cursed your bloodline. Okay? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. So we have people, I mean, my fake dad, who's just my uncle and a perv, okay, who, you know, oh, I'm dying or I'm sick, so I need to go steal from somebody. I need someone to sacrifice something, sacrifice people, sacrifice animals, and I mean literally kill them so that they can live. Well, fuck you. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know, your own karma. Your own death angel is yourself. It's like when you're doing wrong and you bring the judgment upon yourself, but you're blaming everyone else. You know, these people, I was given an inheritance. These people killed their own parents, which is why this inheritance, you know, existed. So they stole it. I mean, all they care about is money, greed, envy, jealousy. All they had to do was get healed, get themselves right. Is it not in Scripture that we all have an inheritance? Well, shouldn't you be on the search for your own inheritance instead of stealing from others? Because you just curse yourself big time. So every time you pop up in this lifetime, you're cursed. But you're also doing it to your bloodline. So you force people to cleanse their own bloodline, as far as like getting healed, stuff like that, so that themselves and their generations thereafter are cleared of that karma. But you still have your own karma to deal with. You know, being like my biological mother, my creepy perv uncle, who is Satan, Saturn, you know, all structured, all these people who bow down to him. What the fuck are you doing? So, I mean, so I call the police because he was sitting there with a gun, okay, and he's way unbalanced. I mean, you know, he's completely, what do you call that? Schizophrenic, and so is my biological mother. Okay, they have that issue. What causes the schizophrenia is the energy vampirism, okay? The stealing energy and anything they can from others. Feeding people poison, okay? That's what I've been healing from, is being, this time it's, you know, what do they call it, arsenic. I mean, straight up smell the bitter, like almond smell, but the bitter really stands out. Fallen angels and their metals, you know, mercury and all these, you know, poisons and plants and everything that are poisonous, but yet we have this government that's telling everyone, well, you can't have marijuana, you can't have this, you can't have kratom in this state, you can't have it here. Who the fuck do these people think they are? Okay, if the Native Americans saw very easily that plants and food are like medicine and healing as well as, you know, food, right? Okay, let's look at it this way. What grows by the river and in a drought? You know, isn't that interesting enough? That's marijuana, cannabis, hemp. Do you realize that that is really a divine plant? But it's demonized because the Illuminati hate it. You got to look at things differently, and it's literally hidden in the Bible, okay? I mean, what looks like coriander seed? Cannabis seeds. It's there, but people don't, you know, it's like they don't want to see it or something like that. Religion itself is structure. That's from Satan, Saturn, okay? If Saturn's not balanced, you understand that it's out of whack. It's just overstructure, you know, micromanager. And that's all this fucker does. And I'm talking about my uncle, the creepy perv that's Manson, Epstein, and the people you know as Manson and Epstein are not. Okay? It's the false narrative, you know. Who owns the airwaves, or who has owned the airwaves? Well, Satan. You get it? So what are you getting out there? Illusion. Remember, it was some news reporter. Who was that? I don't watch that at all. Mika Brzezinski or some shit saying, we tell you what to think. So, do you realize, it's Illuminati-controlled TV, Illuminati-controlled government. That's not to say there aren't good people in it, but they need to stand up. They've got to be against the evil. This fucker, so they steal an inheritance from me. He couldn't buy anything, except from his own parents. They had to help him. So, literally everything these people say about me, they're literally saying about themselves. They're telling on themselves. Where is my youngest child? Do you see the kind of things that these people do? It's about human trafficking, child trafficking, sex trafficking, because they're about poisoning people to make them go against their will and like get them catfished, and that person that they have catfished and they've already pre-programmed, who knows, poisoned and whatever, to force upon them what they want them to do, because these people won't do it themselves necessarily, although Uncle Perv Creepy has definitely been poisoning me. What is thou shalt not kill? Well, that means you're not supposed to kill anything. Nothing. Because then that karma's on you. Even the government, if they're doing that karma's on them. You're supposed to give someone a chance to be able to get themselves right. No matter what. It's not, let them deal with their own karma. But the government is supposed to go after the people who are going against the Ten Commandments, bearing false witness, which is slander and all that stuff. And if you have people that are, even the government, if they're spying on people, surveillance, why would they be doing it to me? I'm not doing anything wrong. Nothing am I doing wrong, okay? Except unless telling the truth is their issue, which makes you wonder. But you don't have the right to do that. And now if you're spying on people who are doing wrong, okay then. But this is bullshit. It really is bullshit, So my whole life I've grown up as like this government human experiment where they're, trying out every poison on me, doing everything they can to kill me, doing witchcraft, setting up accidents, doing every fucking thing in the world they can do to kill me. Because it's all about, them putting their karma on someone else and then killing them. Like, oh, well, now you can take our karma and we'll take your good karma, we'll wear your good energy. And they use that to cloak themselves in it so people can't see them and see what they're doing. That's why you can't judge a book by its cover. You have got to have discernment. The heart is for truth and books are for knowledge. For seeing what you need to see, but if you don't have your heart involved in it, you just get programmed by it. If all you're doing is in these devices, you don't have time away from it, and yeah, I get it, man, I get it. But you need nature, things of nature, even quiet, right? But when you have someone that's out to micromanage everything, steal everything from you, which is major white-collar crimes, okay? How many of you is this happening to? Are you looking into, if you heal your chakras and you're healing all this stuff, you're getting balanced. And again, I've got a playlist, which is an example of frequencies and, music frequencies that you can listen to help you heal. You can play it in the background. It really works, okay? Getting out in nature, eating the rainbow, which is the color of the chakras. Stop eating meat. Do you have teeth like a lion or like a dog or a cat, or, to rip and tear flesh? Are you able to run after your prey and do that? No. You have to really think about these things, okay? If the police, the government, the whatever branch isn't doing the right thing, then they're incurring that karma. And you have these criminals laughing at them, thinking it's just funny, playing with them, toying with them, right? So you've either got to be about doing the right thing or it's all going to implode, right? And their job needs to be to get the right person that the inheritance belongs to, and to get the right person that's doing the stealing, the murder, kill, poisoning, slandering, spying, and then selling it on the dark web. I don't even know what the fuck the dark web is really. I mean, I gather the concept, but I've never seen it. I don't know. But you have people that are, there's people in the government that are doing some of the darkest shit. Uncle Creepy Perv, who's not my dad, he's been heavily involved in politics. He's got to be way involved. You know that Epstein is known for spying on people, setting up cameras, and then using whatever he can get on them. He likes to set up scenarios like drugging them and poisoning them and making them do something against their will, and then using that against them. Well, if you were drugged or poisoned, is it your fault completely? Or, what's the whole truth? That's why you go through this healing and you stand against oppressors. You come out and to say what it is that they're doing. What wrong they're doing. We all have our own rights, yes or no? Who sits here and says, well, you have rights, but we're here to take it from you? Well, you're a woman, you're not allowed to do anything unless we tell you what to do. Bull fucking shit. I'm a free spirit, I like to go with the flow, whatever it is I feel like doing. To have people sit here and tell me what to do or suggest to me what I should do, fuck off, right? That's bullshit. I mean, I'm sitting here having all these people telling me I should do this, I should do that, Well, whatever. Maybe that's what you want to do. Doesn't mean that's, for me necessarily. Maybe I need to do this first, or do that, or whatever. And sometimes, when we're going through this ascension, we face against that. We face against those that are, how can I put it? They're pushing that line to see where we're at. Okay? So you have to be able to look at things with a clean heart and objectively. And yeah, I'm someone that I push back when people push me. I'm like, what the fuck? And sometimes I'll have trouble speaking it out, so I do it in a way that I can. I've had people sit here and tell me I should sing and stuff like that, or I should do this. I mean, so much shit. And so I end up coming back with something like kind of telling them fuck off, in a manner of speaking. And yeah, I speak colorfully. These people have literally, the Illuminati, have deleted my brain and my mouth filter. So what? Who gives a fuck if you cuss? I don't really get that. I'm not putting curses on anyone. How do you put a curse on someone? You think that means you cuss on them? Do you have a clean house or a clean temple? Look, some people, maybe they smoke. Is it right for you to persecute them? Should you copy them? You should do what you do, what your heart and yourself is telling you to do. Because, like for instance, because I'm sitting here like thinking about a white buffalo calf woman or white buffalo woman, whatever you want to say. I just kind of cut it short to white buffalo woman. Okay, she smoked something in that pipe, as a sacred peace pipe, okay? Which we should be about peace. We should be praying for peace, love, harmony, safety, and protection. That's kind of like a duh. I mean, she was either smoking tobacco or cannabis in that pipe. And the point of that pipe is that it's made from earthenware. So you want to be careful of, things that are bad, okay? There's cadmium in vegetables too, They put the cadmium in the soil. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. We need to clean the earth. We need to have clean, foods that aren't making us into batteries, so that people can suck the life off of us, the life force, because that's what energy vampires do. There are actual vampires. Like, you ever walk into a room and you notice, or someone else walks into the room, say you're already in it, or you happen to walk into a room and notice that the life is sucked out of it. That's energy vampires are around. Just whenever you feel that feeling, you're like, man, where'd the life go? It just, where'd the energy go? Anything that drains you. That's a pretty big key. They, for law enforcement of any kind, doesn't matter what your little branch is or whatever, the government, the whatever, okay? If you're listening to narcissists, they're feeding you word salad to confuse you. So, I damn sure ain't had anyone come talk to me. If I try to talk to them, they're like running away. That's really strange to me. If people are really about the law and hearing the truth, they would want to listen, right? You would think. But this is a very dark area. Why do they call it the Dirty South? Because it's the Bible Belt. Do you realize who wrote the Bible? The Bible was written from plagiarism. That's why they say it was translated. Okay? I mean, history repeats itself over and over and over and over and over again until we do something to break it, to stop it, to change it, right? So, having sovereignty is to be free. Sin is the restriction. Okay? So the law must have the right person who is actually doing the wrong. They must find that out. They can't, well, so-and-so's telling us this, but we're not going to come talk to you, but we're just going to come and put chains on you and blame it all on you. Or, well, you need to come to court. You got to do this, so you can give all your information and your way of fighting it and all this stuff to the enemy before court so that they can, come up with their lies and slander and everything. What the fuck is that? So this house, which is like broken down palace, by the way, it's like falling apart because he doesn't take care of anything. He wants to dictate everyone to do this, to do that, while he sits on the computer destroying lives. Yeah. So he buys this house with my stolen inheritance, and I'm supposed to be evicted. Excuse me? Anything and everything that they've bought. I mean, literally, ever since I was born, everything that these people have, they have gained from me. I'll go somewhere, and all of a sudden these people around me are just, they're being lifted up, and they're having all kinds of gains and all kinds of stuff because these people are paying them to do, to set up cameras on me, to do this, do that. I mean, there's no coincidence that I say something and then the very people, like the landlords or whatever, sitting there saying it to me. Like, and that's why a lot of times, someone that knows this is going on will say something kind of rather outlandish just to see it come back to them. The echo. Like, there's certain ways of doing things and seeing the result of it, and you know what's going on. Okay? But the government, the law, does not have any right whatsoever to come after someone who is innocent, who's not done anything wrong, other than maybe, speak truth? How is that wrong? That's just, do you understand we're in an inverted world? The sun is on top of the moon. What is that, Revelation 12? The moon is Pisces, the sun is Leo, okay? Which you can read about the zodiac Leo and Pisces, which Pisces is a fish, like fishy cup, okay? Like someone's trying to hand you something fishy. So the sun would be like the revealer, right? The moon would be like the concealer, the one that hides things, And Saturn is the structure, so the micromanager, if he's left unchecked. If he never pays for what he does wrong. And if you live in this world that, women, you're to cook and clean, this is your job, blah, blah, blah. Well, then you have women that are raising children that are treating men like they're gods and women like they're pieces of shit, which is called backwards. Okay? Men and women aren't going to be born in this world at all if that's how you're going to do things. It's just going to stop. You need a living planet, right? You don't have the right to force women into having children if that's how things are going to be. And by the way, if you're someone that you're unable to have children, well, heal your chakras. That changes things. But you need to make sure that whom you're with is also that they have healed chakras. You know, this is why you go through this period. That's why you stop having sex, and always like nothing, because it's literally sexual energy that you manifest with, because that's like the creation, that from the creativity, it comes from there. That's why you have people attacking it. That's why you have people that do molestation and rape and all these horrible things, because they're stealing that. They're stealing that creative energy, and then they're going and creating with it. That's why they like to poison people and do all these horrible things, and that's why, things like Rahibinol exist, because I'm still why does that exist? It doesn't make sense. But these people, man, they're going to reap what they sowed until they're able to clearly see what it is that they've done wrong and are doing wrong. Because they don't change. They just keep doing it. They've gotten away with it for so long that they've been unchecked their whole life. It's horrific. And they're out to get people to sin horrifically so that they can hide. That's what they do. How do you do that to someone? Poison someone to the point that you've barbarically melted their brain. Go watch, what is that damn movie? Paycheck. In the very beginning, it's like, I think the first 20 minutes, that they, mentioned barbarically melting the brain. Okay, how come there's so many amnesia movies or anything to do with memory loss, which would include dementia, like The Notebook, for instance? What kind of world do we live in? Barbaria. People need to wake up and, smell the coffee, so to speak, and see the truth. It doesn't matter what your title is. Just because someone has a title does not make them above you. It doesn't give them the right to rule over you, which that's Saturn. If someone is not doing wrong, okay, and by the way, I don't have weed. I don't have marijuana. I don't even have, cannabis or whatever, because this is fucking Alabama, where they, think they... as soon as I said something about that cannabis is a direct route to God, they got to ban it everywhere. Something funny about that, y'all. They're showing themselves. But they banned it here in Alabama because, well, that's what's helping her. Fuck, I'll get there and I will make it no matter what you fucking do to these wicked people. Alright? So if I say something that triggers you, am I saying it to you, or am I saying it to the wicked ones? Are you taking offense that maybe that is you, or is it what's been programmed onto you? You're going to have to learn to see through the muck. Alright? These people want to berate everyone into the Bible and the words literally. Okay? Why did Jesus speak in parables? You were to research. Okay, it says that it's up to God to hide a matter and up to kings to search it out. Well, what are you? Do you consider yourself a king, or a king with a Q, a queen? What are you? Because, the women, if they're sovereign and they've healed themselves, then they would be, the head matriarch. Alright? There's patriarch too, but he's actually supposed to stand behind his woman, meaning protect her, not tell her what to do. We have people that say, God made men as leaders. Well, where's your proof that he did that? Where's your proof? Because They can't have babies. So a man that can't have babies is supposed to tell the family, the wife, the children what to do. That's backwards. We're in an inverted world. That doesn't mean that women are going to be telling their men what to do. You know, the men can just go away if they're not going to behave. It's quite that simple. You know, you either get healed, learn to live right, okay, or you're going to have women that ain't going to put up with your shit. You know, a man that chases more than one rabbit, it ends up with none. That's a fact. We have these men that, you know, want to poison people, roofie them, and all this stuff, women, and then force them into the kind of relationship they want. They want to live out their fantasies. Are they your fantasies, or did some sick Satanist Illuminati person put them on you, or group? You know, these Freemason lodges, how come they don't go and raid them and see what's there? You know, all this secrecy. Well, why? Do you know what fraternities and sororities are? That's secret societies too. We have the Fraternal Order of Police. When women are about getting into, like, law enforcement, they haze them. Why? It's about putting them into the masculine, seeing things the way that they see them, instead of, you know, women using their intuition and be able to see what's really going on. Can you see how many things are wrong and backwards, inverted, and shouldn't be that way? It's nuts. But everyone, you've got to go on this healing journey if you want to see things clearly, if you want to have discernment and be able to see things the way that God needs you to see them. God is within the heart. The kingdom of God is within, you know, your heart. But you have to have your brain working, all sides of it. If you're always plugged into devices and what's electronic, this, that, the other, you know, anything that is non-nature, you don't have all your brain working. There's part of it that's dead. So you wake that up by getting away from it. You know, the news is there to program the shit out of you until they start telling the truth. You have to be able to pull away from that stuff. If you have the fear of missing out, well, they put that on you. How much stuff is projected onto you? That's the point of healing, so that you can see clearly, okay? You know, Jupiter stands for abundance, okay? And, you know, full life. You know, a life bigger than, you know, the structure and bullshit of Saturn, Satan, you know. You have to kind of look at these things that way. Like Jews, as in Jupiterians. There's been all kinds of things that have been twisted and inverted in order to make things look wrong, because that's what these people need in order to keep their structure, their institutionalization going on of everyone in this world. Look, people have the right to live the way they want to. And that is, of course, that they're not doing things that's going against the Ten Commandments, that they're not going against the laws of nature, the universal laws. Because I'm telling you, universal law is, that shit comes back to you. You know, you do wrong, it's going to come back to you. You do right, it comes back to you. It's just how it is. But there's a certain point that when you're on this journey that you've got to see, there are those that are, you know, testing limits because they're micromanagers and they want to take you over. Then there's those that are testing your limits to see if you've finally made it, you know, that you're where you're supposed to be. You just have to be able to see things clearly, which in a world that's so inverted, it's very difficult. You know, you're supposed to have, you know, come to God with, you know, your childlike being. Okay, that's why they need to hurt you as a child, so that you won't have that childlike being. So you'll be bitter and angry and mad, which really does come from fear, but is it fear projected on by other people that have fear because they've committed all this karma? You know, something to think about. They have karma coming to them, and they see people that have the dharma, the good, coming to them, and they want that. But they fucked up. They have to pay the price for that fucking up. If they come to God, their fucking up that they did won't be as bad. If they handle the karma, unload the karmic debt, like by paying back what they stole, make things right, give back what they bought with the money they stole, all of it, make everything right, tell the truth, bare their soul, then they have that chance. But if they don't, they're not. There's been people that have been stealing all over the world, and stealing talent because they've been doing like this, what is that called? The freak off thing. Like, I'm telling you, this is what they do. They catfish someone that they want to steal from, okay? So they send someone in to be with this person in a fake relationship. Then they have that person that they sent in to come be with someone else or a whole group. But whatever it is, it's going to trickle down to where someone that they, this person's with this person's with this person, so that they can, till they get to the person that'll be with the whole group, and then they go and share it with others. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. But they do that so that they can share that creativeness with all these other people. That's why you have this whole slew of people that are, have talent, whether it's, movies, acting, music, I'm not saying everyone, y'all, but there's certain ones, because, it's really weird when I'm sitting here watching something like, how'd they do that? How did they know about that? Things that I haven't seen other people do, but yet these people are doing it. Yeah, really strange. Yeah, you get into this and you start seeing that. If you see someone else, it's like wearing your characteristics. That should, kind of wake you up, as into, wait, what's going on? Because I know when I was young and I said that, I got obliterated with poison. I got attacked. That's, a sign to look into things that you need to. Why? Why is that going on? What's really going on, right? So, healing your chakras, which that was something I didn't even know what the hell that was. So I had to find out. They're energy centers, they're portals, okay? So when you get there, you're all the way healed, and you're getting to where you're supposed to get to, there's a big old portal that opens up for you. You just have to trust and have faith. You can't let go of that. They say faith of a mustard seed. Well, maybe you have more than faith of a little mustard seed. But we have people that don't believe in God. Well, how in hell can you explain how many times I've died, literally been murdered, okay? Oh, let's bring that up. I saw this clip. I guess it was from the Friends show, but it's the Courtney Cox actors sitting here saying, it was part of the script, but pointing out CC, which is 33, and pointing out 6/17. Well, that's the day I died. It's just backwards. I died 7/16. Okay? And I was supposedly 31, but my age isn't correct. So, I literally died at 33. 4 times that day, okay? At least that we know of. That was, in the hospital. Because I was, dying the whole way, over and over and over and over and over. It was, horrific. I was bleeding out, and they Hannibal lectured me at the hospital. I was at 2 different hospitals. The first hospital was just content to let me bleed out. Like, these people, they want to drink my blood. Anytime I've been in the hospital, they were always tapping in, we gotta take your blood. Well, what, every fucking hour? All the damn time. All the damn time. Yeah, there's people that actually drink blood. They're really sick. Really sick. So, I don't know if you understand this or not, but if you're killing people, killing animals, what is it that serial killers do? They start off killing animals. and then they move on to people. It's because that negativity sticks with you. You don't want to be doing this stuff, folks. It just gets worse and worse and worse. So if you're eating meat, then you're taking part in the ones that killed the animal. That death stays upon the animal, and you're consuming it. You know, like, I'm going to just give you for instance. So say an animal eats, pumpkins. Well, then they're going to shit out pumpkin seeds, as fertilizer, and you're going to have a pumpkin patch. That would be a point of cycle of life. Something continuing, not dying. You see? That can be with any seed, but are you kind of seeing the point? Eating meat introduces parasites into the gut biome, which if you have parasites, that brings your house, your temple, your body down very low so that people can attack you, so that they can poison you and do horrible things to you if they got poison and metals in the food. Again, go read about the fallen angels and the metals. There's no coincidence. You have to learn to plug this stuff in. Okay, how about this? Back to the Future. The out of time, the tower, clock tower, and the car, and lightning. Well, if you go look up the tarot card, the tower, that's showing lightning, and it's a tower. Okay, that's literally pointing to a tower card. There's all these tarot card references all over the world. Okay, what is that song? Jefferson Airplane. Yeah, not Starship, Airplane. That's interesting. They later become Starship. So, that song, White Rabbit, Backwards Talking Knight. Well, they have knights in tarot. There's also biblical tarot. If you get freaked out by that, get over it. Really, that can be used for good and for bad. Okay? If you use it to spy on others and to look into things that you're not supposed to, that's not good. Okay? That's, because we have people that are doing it not to better themselves, but to stop other people. That's where it's, getting into bad things. Okay? You need it to help you to advance. Okay? Whether it's you use cards, runes, tea leaves, whatever. Use that to better yourself, to change yourself. Be about the change of yourself so that you can be healed, and then you're like really seeing everything. You don't really need to spy on anything. Why do you have people that throw stones? They shouldn't live in glass houses, but they throw stones and hide. Why would they do that? Because they can't speak. They can't say what it is they need to say because something has happened to close off their chakra. Trauma is what really shuts down the throat chakra, which is where you speak. It's communication. So go get healed, but you really want to start off with the root chakra, work your way up, because that is your foundation, the root chakra, foundation in God. We have people out here that behave like they're spiritual, but they're not. It's just a big illusion and farce. So you have to have this discernment to be able to see through illusions. People that throw rocks and hide their hands, it's because they know they're doing wrong, or else they wouldn't do that. Me, I'll just come here and blah. I may be blunt and may just say shit, but it's meant to help people. It's not to, it's like they're attacking me, but I'm not supposed to say anything. If the shoe was on the other foot, there's, a point that you have to speak out. You have to say what you need to say. You're just going to let people keep attacking you, because I ain't about that. But we have a right to sovereignty, to peace, to happiness. We're not just supposed to live in this world where we have people all telling us what to do. That's wrong. We have right to freedom. So get healed so you can have your freedom, y'all, and find out what your inheritance is, what belongs to you, what's being stolen from you. Wouldn't it be wise to find all that out instead of people just, taking everything you have? They don't have that right to. So find out what it is. That is the Nasara Jasara, not someone going around stealing things from everyone. That's wrong. So you have to be able to see what's true, what's false, what's real, who's wearing literal masks in front of you. Interestingly enough, there's a movie called Mask, and because that person was going to wear a mask much later on. These things are seen. I noticed this years and years ago. I've been making these videos for a bit, because I was on this journey to get, at least to where I am now. And we can always, you don't ever stop learning. That doesn't mean you have to go to school and do things the way they told you. It's about learning the way that the universe has you learn. Until you can get into that flow of doing things the way that you want to. But as long as it's the right way. You have your own flow, what's your own right way to do things, wrong way to do things, but, check with the divine. Hear your heart, but you need the heart and brain cohesion, all of it being together and in tune with Mother Nature. So, we are here to live with nature. What did God give Adam in the Garden of Eden? Animals first. We need to learn to live with nature, be good to animals, not, these people like to make videos, make it look like they're taking care of animals, but they're not. We take in the baby animals, but don't give a shit about the mother. Well, you're a piece of shit. You need to be about care for all of nature, and not stopping people that do that. You don't put animals in jail and in prison. I mean, that's fucking horrible. You treat them lovingly. They can have foster homes. You don't have the right to make people give their animals vaccines either. They put mercury in those damn things. They do it to people, they do it to animals. You don't have the right to tell everyone, well, you must do this. Matter of fact, if you're out there putting out lies and saying, well, this is what you need for the then you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That shit's on you that puts it out there. If you're someone that was programmed by others, well, wake up and then tell what the truth is. Stop being afraid. So they put you on the outer edges of society. I ain't with this societal shit because it's wrong, it's inverted. So stand alone and be right instead of standing with a bunch of people and being wrong. I never understood these people that always got to have people around them. That's kind of a red flag, y'all. It's okay when you're all healed, stuff like that, to be around people, but you still need to have some of that time alone to recharge, Be your own battery, not other people's battery, Y'all, I do pray that everyone wants to get healed instead of going the wrong way, because this is about all of us getting healed, okay? And if someone goes the wrong way, and then it falls to the next person. So you got to do this. You've got free will and free choice, but you just are not seeing things correctly because everything's in balance because someone else was probably behind it. We have hurt people that don't hurt people, but they hurt themselves, okay? And we have hurt people that do hurt other people. So the law needs to be about getting those that are raping, molesting, murdering, poisoning, white-collar crimes, they need to be behind that shit. They need to be doing their job, not assumptions, not, listening to slander and gossip and then persecuting on that. I have a right to not be persecuted, and so do other people. That's going to get you fucked up. Persecuting people who are not doing wrong. That will get you fucked up all day long. And in this area, it's been very corrupt. Too damn corrupt. People need to do the right thing. Because, when you have people that are healed, yeah, they can see through people. They see shit. They know when someone's lying to them or trying to push them into, oh, you should go over here, or well, you should this. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to live my life. I'm not doing nothing wrong to anyone. And I haven't had marijuana. I haven't had cannabis. I haven't had any fucking thing. Not even cigarettes. But when I was smoking cigarettes, it took me like 2-3 days to smoke a pack. You're going to call that an addiction? That's not an addiction. That's someone that just wants to smoke. So the fuck what? Like, I don't get it. Who are you to tell someone else what they should do because you deem it healthy? God put plants here on the earth for us. That doesn't mean you should just, smoke up 20 million cigarettes in a day either. But you don't have the right either to tell someone, like if someone's in pain, like I can't take Tylenol, ibuprofen, Advil, none of that shit. But that's what they push. Why do they push that? Well, I can't have plants to help heal. Like what, kratom helps as well. That's a plant that helps with healing. Are they going to go ban that now? Oh wait, it's already banned in Alabama. Unless they changed it. You need to fucking get the fuck off of the plants. Okay? If they're healing plants, whether you see it that way or not, get the fuck out of it. That's not your job. Okay? Now, poisonous plants that kill people, and I'm talking like water hemlock, stuff like that, that's an issue. There needs to be education in the world. Where we really teach things the correct way, not the way that Satan has told everyone that it is, while everyone's bowing down to his micromanaging Satan ass. He's a perv. These people are dangerous to be around other people. They take someone that's perfectly normal, nothing wrong with them, and flip them completely upside down because they're poisoning them and deleting the brain. That, I think, is a pretty big issue. There should be people doing something about that. Where's that? Is everyone okay in this neighborhood? Because we have all these Illuminati monsters creeping and crawling around. What about senior citizens? So if these people force their way in their home and take over, that's okay because it's the Illuminati. Bullshit. People need to know that they can call for help, that they actually get help. We can't have people that are programmed, running shit. People that get dirt on people because they're poison, drugging them, whatever the case is. That's why you heal, so that you know what happened. Turn on the fucker that's doing that shit. Why would you be afraid of that asshole? He ain't got magic. He has to steal it. People that are good, that aren't doing wrong, have got love magic. Okay? And that's why parasites need a host. Parasites need a host. That should be why, if someone's always got to be around somebody, you got to wonder why. Or they got to have control of someone. Well, why? Are you doing something because someone's got dirt on you? Then you need to get into that hermit mode and heal and get to the, what's going on, what has gone on. We have these laws made to where, people that have repressed memories are just basically fucked. So like if they, start to see something later, then to them it's like, oh, it's already too late, da da da. Well, you can't do that. People have repressed memories, and we know that. And by the way, have you ever watched The Manchurian Candidate? That has kind of a lot of shit in it. There's a number of these movies that have a lot in it. But you have to look at it differently. Look at it as though it's you that's going through it. Okay? You that's the one that's been attacked. Watch Into the West, but watch it as though you're the ones that's being forced into something, so that you don't have to go through all this stuff, to make it, easier, so that you can see something through someone else's eyes. If you can't see something through someone else's eyes, then how on earth can you be a good judge of character, a good judge of anything? How can you have discernment? You've got to learn to put yourself in other people's shoes, because if you can't do that, you're not a good judge. You're not a good judge of character. I mean, Martin Luther King, he said it well, that we should be only judged by the content of our character, not by whether we're a man or a woman, not by what color our skin is or where we're from. That is the most stupidest shit ever. It really is. But don't you realize that he was attacked for saying that? He was horrifically attacked. That's what people do. When you're out here saying the truth and doing things to help people to have a better life, you have all the lack mindset, drones basically, because they're drone people, they're clone people, out here throwing a fit. We can't have this, da 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 da. You don't have the right to tell other people how they want to live, okay? Unless they're going against the Ten Commandments, unless they are literally harming others. If someone's harming themselves, yeah, we don't want them to do that. Pray for them. But we got to stop thinking that it's right to... It's one thing if someone is kind of cocooning themselves and, like even their pet, because these people are attacking the pet, what the fuck? But in that sense, if it's for protection, they're allowed to do that. But it goes to show that there's too much damn evil around if they're having and feeling that they have to do that. I'm tired of getting poisoned. Do you think I deserve to get poisoned? Because if you agree with that, then, you might find yourself poisoned. We're not to sit here and wish harm on someone else. We get tired of people's bullshit, yeah, but they're going to reap what they sowed, no matter what. And if you're harboring resentment and those feelings, it's only going to bring you down. It makes, a heart light like a feather. Well, that feather's going to sink like a damn rock, like the heaviest fucking, thing that ever existed on earth. It's just going to sink. A millstone. It's going to sink. If you have all these lower, vibe emotions. Go look up the vibration chart, okay? Look what's on it. Whatever vibration that you're vibing at, okay? All you gotta do is go up one each time. It's like one rung on the ladder, another rung on the ladder, until you get to the top. Who's the golden calf? Do you realize who that is? Who's the P resident? Hamster hairpiece. Do you realize who that is behind that mask? You ever heard of White Rapper Boy? The people that like to put on, the Hollywood mask shit. Do you realize who Biden is? The movie Mask? Who was the actor in that? Jim Carrey was in the movie Mask. You see the full illusion going on in front of your eyes. They pull illusion, like they have people that are, it's this person, they switch them around because they know that no one really notices. I mean, there's some that notice, but let me tell you something. The P resident hamster hair piece is not Elvis. That's part of their coding, they're coding this and coding that, hiding it, illusion. He's pointing to that he's a singer, but he just is a thief. That's my half brother, white rapper boy, okay? And he's been sent after me my whole life to steal that creative energy. He's the one that sends someone in to catfish me after I've been, roofied and all this stuff. These people are sick. White rapper boy molested me when I was a little kid. I mean, these people need to get themselves right. They're about, just the biggest thievery ever, and he's out to force other countries to even, well, we got to own you for you to be safe from China. Well, who do you suppose sent them after him? I mean, that's what the mob does. It's like, pay us for your protection, but they're the ones that are, terrorizing them. Y'all, this is, America, not the United States corporation. You understand what corpse is? It's death. These people literally play around with death. They're maritime laws, okay? It's wrong. It's wrong. It's faked up, trumped up bullshit. You have to see through the murky waters to really see what's going on. But the people have sovereignty, okay? But you just gotta come to God. The true God, not the Satan Saturn God, okay? Who's the one that's, structure, which is micromanaging. You don't have the right to micromanage people's lives, to manage every moment, every second of their lives. The point was to have everyone in this system of you must work this job, pay taxes, because these people can't come up with their own money. They've got to steal. They want to. This is someone that wants to have the whole world, and he wants to control it all. Okay? Instead of teaching and showing people how to have their own, so that they have freedom and sovereignty. Which do you prefer?